We bring the boom. That's what we do. We bring the boom. We bring the boom to you. We bring the boom. We bring the boom to everyone. We bring the boom. Your favorite father and son.
Every afternoon on your FYP.
We'll be bringing the boom around the quarter
What's up,
past.
everybody? This is Cam Han, the Fantasy Man, coming at you with the Week 7 recap. Going with the Halloween theme slideshow this week. Rocking this old picture of me and Hunter in front of his house for Halloween, probably when we were in 5th or maybe 6th grade. Anyway, good times, but let's get going because I have to sit in this car without it on and it gets really hot. Dylan Ashton, best matchup, pretty lame matchup in terms of players, but I guess it came down to the wire apparently. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to that matchup, but whatever. Who cares about these anyway? Worst matchup was Matt versus Greg. Not close. Who cares? My mom just texted me. Worst injury luck. The player was Greg. Can somebody give Greg a break? I mean, why do we got to kick Greg when he's down? Like, garbage time, Chris Godwin, one of his only good players, just having his leg ripped apart. Can someone give Greg a break? He makes a good pickup last week of Demario Douglas. Douglas gets hurt. Jonathan Taylor's been out like pretty much since he traded for him. Can someone just give Greg a break? That's all I want to say. I'm sticking up for Greg this week. Most unlucky. We're going to go with Will. 4 losses in a row. This one came against Matt, who had an 166-point week. Pretty sure Will had a pretty good scoring week as well. Maybe the highest points scored in a loss. Also, I think we all learned that if he would have set his lineup just slightly better, he would have won by like 0.1. Anyway, pretty unlucky. Cameron Broker, second week in a row with most lucky. Cam Broker got to go up against my team, my bum team. On the week, he puts up 102. He beats me with 102. But not only that, I would have won if I would have had Jaden Daniels not get hurt, boys. So Cameron Broker just reaching new levels of luck. Again, I would have won if Jaden Daniels didn't get hurt, and he only got 102. That is ridiculous. For a win, dumbest move. We got to go with Preston, even though Preston won. Him starting ETN, who was out, was a terrible move. Had to be worst move of the week. Like I said, he could have set an alarm to check if ETN was going to play. He should have probably just put Pierce in his flex, just in case, or maybe not even Pierce, somebody else in his flex, just in case ETN wasn't going to play. It was a very much avoidable thing, or a very easy thing to avoid for Preston, but he didn't. Lucky for him, Sam just has such absurdly bad karma that it didn't matter, and he got the win. Doug wins smartest move. His tight end pickups. He picked up Njoku. He does have 4 good tight ends, and he used to have Likely. I took the worst one when I selected Likely. But Doug's been making moves. He's been picking up guys. His team looks solid. He held on to A.J. Brown when he could have traded him. He hasn't panicked. He's done good. He's put up some smart moves, Doug has. Best free agent move, we're going to go with Njoku. I think, especially with the injury, especially with Amari Cooper leaving and, potentially better quarterback play coming up for the Browns. Njoku could be very good for the rest of the season. And for that same reason, stock rising is Doug. 3 wins in a row. His team is looking very strong. Stock falling, I'm going to go with Hunter. 2 losses in a row. Mike Evans got hurt. Tyreek Hill is still a shell of himself. I would say as of right now, Hunter's stock is currently falling. We'll continue on with Doug. Best player was Doug. I mean, most points scored this week. This is a big, I feel like Will kind of glazing Doug this week. Will loves to do that, but most points scored this week. He made some good moves. He picked up Njoku. Like, what else can you say? Doug was great this week. Worst player, we're going to go with Sam. Sub 100 performance for Sam. He couldn't even beat Preston when Preston started an injured player, which not only gets Preston a 0, but also gives him major bad karma vibes from the fantasy gods. But again, Sam's karma is so bad he couldn't even out karma Preston this week when he started a ineligible player. And Sam, he also still has Hollywood Brown on his team. He still has Ayuk on his team. I know, like, before I start roasting him for having Ayuk, we'll give him till ad drop, but I'm willing to bet he keeps Ayuk on his team for a while. Who had that dog? No surprise here, but Doug, I think Doug had that dog. Absolutely popped off against Hunter. Huge rival, important matchup. Devastated Hunter. Hunter told me, and I don't blame him, but Hunter told me, he's like, I didn't even want to watch football after that week. He's like, after getting beat that bad, I didn't even want to watch. And that is Doug. Doug just dominated that matchup, and it was a big matchup. And look, and he's even being humble about it, people. Doug is even being humble. Season segments. We got our weekly rankings. Dylan and Matt stay atop the weekly rankings. Doug makes a huge climb from 6 to 3 with the improvement of his team and with the big win. Bobby, Bobby's team's good, I guess. You see Broker goes down even after a low point win. But that's really more about the fact that his win was pretty lucky. Also, Doug just went up. People are just going up. He's going down. I mean, it is what it is. Hunter's going down a little bit. Ashton saying the same. And yeah, that is what it is. I did go up one spot, but that was more about Greg going down another spot after the Chris Godwin injury. After the Chris Godwin injury, you got to bump down Greg a little bit, and that caused me to go up one spot. So that's how that works. We got dabs this week. Will for not inviting me to his Halloween party. 6 dabs. That's right, Will. That's right. I heard about your Halloween party, and maybe I wanted to go, but I got no invite to Will's Halloween party. That's 6 dabs. Will and Ashton for having an in-depth discussion about toilet bowl seating. They did that in the Dynasty chat. They were having an in-depth conversation about how toilet bowl seating worked. It was really silly. And I was just reading that. I was like, why are they talking about this? And I was like, that's dabs. Will for being a grade A glazer for anyone that's not me or Ashton. 9 dabs. As everybody knows, he's ridden Greg and Doug this whole season. He's ridden pretty much everybody's team. I forget what he did specifically this week, but he started riding somebody. I forget who. And I think Cameron Broker might have said, why don't you just kiss him already? Like every week, Will is on to somebody new. Will is on to glazing someone new, riding someone new. Oh my gosh, Hunter's team's so good. Oh my gosh, Bobby's team, I love it. But the only people he won't ride or glaze is me or Ashton. And I think that's dabs. So dabs for being a glazer, and also dabs for if you're going to be one, I mean, you might as well spread the love around a little bit and give some to me and Ashton, but he never does that, never even compliments my videos. He only throws shade and only, is mean to me. So, you know what? Dabs. Preston for starting ETN when he was out and it was easy to avoid. 20 dabs. As you might note, this was more dabs than I gave Hunter when he started a guy that was injured. That's because Preston's was easily avoidable. Hunter's, while I do believe was avoidable, was much harder to avoid. Preston told me that getting 6 points from Bub was solid. 5 dabs. I got 6 points from Bub Memes on Thursday night. I was kind of bummed. And he's like, what are you talking about? 6 points is solid. I was like, that's not solid. We did the fantasy basketball draft this week. Preston's brother ended up auto-drafting for a number of picks, and Preston defended him. 3 dabs. Bobby for starting Jonathan Taylor, who has been hurt for like the last 4 weeks in Dynasty. 17 dabs. So those of you who aren't in Dynasty, Bobby, unsurprisingly, is not paying attention in that league or doing anything, just like he's not paying attention or doing anything in this redraft league. He ends up starting Jonathan Taylor, who's been out for like the last 4 weeks. Anyway, it's 17 dabs. It's less than Preston because it's in Dynasty, so it's not as important. But anyway, so then Bobby instantly gets called out for starting Taylor, who again is injured. And does Bobby apologize? Does he say anything? No. He quickly logs onto the app to start talking trash. He starts getting mad at everybody else for calling him out. 10 dabs. Another thing I found weird, which is the next dabs, is that after Bobby got called, so Bobby apparently can't look at his sleeper app to set his lineup, but the second somebody starts talking trash about him doing something egregiously wrong, he's very quick to log on to the app and just start, firing back at people. So it's like, Bobby, like, how are you able to be so locked in when people are talking trash, but you're not locked in when you need to set your lineup? It doesn't make any sense. Apparently Bobby called Doug and told him he was stupid. 9 dabs. Presumably Bobby said this to Doug because Doug was roasting him and was upset about Bobby not taking fantasy seriously. Doug was like, Bobby, what the heck? Like, you just started Jonathan Taylor. He's not playing. Why aren't you taking fantasy seriously? Like, what's wrong with you? Bobby, instead of, again, realizing his mistake, just comes at Doug, calls him stupid, hangs up. That's dabs. And another Bobby one, I guess, is Greg told me that whenever he texts Bobby about the Avalanche, he instantly responds. But when Greg texts him about fantasy, he never responds. And as we all can attest, Bobby refuses to respond to fantasy texts. So that's 11 dabs. Like, how are you going to respond to the Colorado Avalanche texts from Greg, but not, fantasy discussion? And lastly, is Bobby okay? I mean, Bobby's falling apart. I'm a little bit worried about him. I know it might come off like I'm attacking him. I'm being mean, maybe you might say, but I'm legitimately concerned about Bobby. 6 dabs. Is he okay? He's racking up all these dabs. He's falling asleep at weddings. What's going on? So anyway, I should probably give Matt dabs for not kind of checking on him. I know Matt said that he is alive, but we need to know if Bobby's okay. Greg for trying to trade with Bobby, 2 dabs. Ashton for dyeing his hair purple, 16 dabs. That's horrible. Dylan, thinks Kareem Hunt is still going to be a dog when Pacheco comes back and is a full go. I disagree. I think when Pacheco comes back, Kareem Hunt is relegated to backup duties. 4 dabs. Gosh, I'm going to have to explain this one. Doug for blatantly getting caught trying to trade. I'm going to say assault me. But in Dynasty, Doug texts me. He's like, hey, what will you take Sam Darnold? And I'm like, yeah, I'll give you a third round pick. And he's like, no way. And I'm like, okay, fine, a second round pick. And he's like, no. And he basically says, if you want Sam Darnold, it's going to be a first round pick. And I'm like, okay, why would I trade a first round pick for Sam Darnold when I could trade a first round pick for Alvin Kamara? Doug then proceeds to tell me that trading a first round pick for Kamara is basically a troll move and is a terrible move. Meanwhile, Doug is trying to trade me Sam Darnold for a first round pick. So Doug knows, and Doug admitted that Kamara has more value than Darnold, right? So Doug believes that trading a first round pick for Kamara and Darnold is a troll move and is a terrible trade for me. Yet he's still trying to gaslight me into taking this Darnold trade. Anyway, it probably doesn't make more sense. It doesn't make much sense, but just know that Doug got caught red-handed just trying to take advantage of me. Doug and anyone else who puts LOL at the end of their text messages as an insult, 8 dabs. Doug really annoys me with this. Logan does it a lot. Everybody annoys me with this. When they're texting and you're like, you disagree with them, you're like, dude, Alvin Kamara is totally worth a first. And then if Doug responds, no, he's not, LOL. Like, it's the most condescending, annoying thing to read in a text when somebody puts LOL as an insult. It's very frustrating. I need to hurry up here, but I continue to buy into Trey Sermon. 4 dabs. I didn't pick him up this week. I wanted to. But I started him in Dynasty, and I don't know why I keep believing in him. He had one good game without Taylor, and he's been bad ever since. But I keep falling for him. Sam for losing to Preston, 3 dabs. Broker for saying he wasn't lucky last week and underplaying his luck in general, 5 dabs. And then you guys might have saw before last night, there was absolutely 0 chance I'd beat Cameron Broker. Like before I didn't even watch the games really. Like there was no chance I could beat him. There was absolutely no chance. And he messaged randomly. He was like, "Oh, GG's, you won this week, Cameron. What good job." And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, there's 0 chance that I win. Are you trying to reverse jinx right now?" Anyway, he did a horrible job, I'm assuming, at trying to reverse jinx me. And as we know, that's against one of the commandments. So that's dabs. But Bobby wins with 60 dabs total. Matt, you gotta have a heart-to-heart with Bobby. Hold his hand. Be like, "What's wrong, big guy?" Just ask him that, So 60 dabs for Bobby. Most annoying was Cameron Broker. The horrible reverse jinx that he did was really annoying. His luck has been kind of annoying me. He's been downplaying his luck. And then also he beat me this week in a really annoying fashion. So I'm pretty annoyed at him. We got the updated, chart here. Next week, best matchup, Matt versus Broker, both 5 and 2. This will really separate, who's really in the second spot, I feel like, behind Dylan. Random rankings. Okay, this is this is a little bit of a theme here because it's Halloween time. But I saw this video to the right of Minshew eating boogers. He got caught eating his boogers, and that made me think biggest booger eaters in the fantasy league. I would go with Will. I feel like Will is really digging for gold on his off time at work, just cranking it. Again, I think Will's a big time booger eater. Dylan as well, I think cranks out a lot. Preston, definitely. Doug should probably be a little higher. But you see my list here. I won't talk about everybody, but Sam's in last place. I feel like Sam just, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the reason Sam doesn't participate in fantasy is because he's too busy eating boogers, but he just doesn't strike me as a booger eating type of fella. So best looking old guys, according to our friend Tracy, who again has never met anyone but me. These are the filters. I did an old guy filter on all of you. Matt, Matt's a solid looking old guy in that photo. Dylan looks good. Dylan looks good in that photo. I aged well. Tyler, if you see over to the right, is great. You can see the list. Cameron, Doug. She thought Andrew looked the worst. Andrew looks like a pedophile in the bottom left there with his old guy picture. Hunter also Hunter's photo, as you see, is pretty gruesome. So yeah, that's what you guys have to look forward to right there. Most likely serial killers, featuring Tracy. We based this off the old guy pictures. She said that Preston looked like he's committed genocide in his photo. So there you go. Cameron Broker, I guess, not looking like much of a serial killer, so that's nice. But yeah, that's most likely serial killers. We got Hunter digging a hole to the left. And lastly, most scared in a haunted house, featuring Caitlin. We got Will. He's a little bit of a fraidy cat, a little sensitive fella. So I would say, or Caitlin would say, he would be the most afraid. Again, Ashton is a big scaredy cat, number 2. Hunter, also very much a scaredy cat. Me, I'm not afraid to admit, I'm afraid in haunted houses. I've done them. I'll do them. But not really my forte. And then you got everybody else that's kind of in the middle. Greg, Doug, just absolutely heartless monsters that just, have no fear inside of a haunted house. So that's what you got. I spent a long time on the dabs this week, but hopefully it's a little bit quicker. But anyway, I enjoyed making this video. I'm going to stick with the Halloween theme. And just a quick reminder that I will be in town for Thanksgiving. I'll be in town for a while, before, like a couple days before Thanksgiving. So I'm really trying to get some football cranked out, and can't wait to be home and see everybody. So anyway, I will see you guys next week. And yeah, let's bring the boom.